to your life. So here he is. He eats from the tree. What did the Lord tell Adam? Don't eat from that tree, because on the day you eat from the tree, what will happen to you? You will surely die. Everybody here knows it. So how long did Adam live? 930 years. I didn't write it. He didn't make it. He did not make it a prophetic day. So when we understand how to tell time the way that Elohim tells time, we're going to be able to put things in their proper perspective and understand when he's going to move on a certain thing. A lot of times what happens to us is we have that mustard seed of faith, but we get out of time. We get out of God's timing, get out of his plan. And we can't figure out what happened. Now all of a sudden we're shipwrecked. But we either move too quickly, which is most cases that's the problem. Very seldom does the Lord have to come and grab somebody by the hand and pull them, except to be saved. That's the only time he's really got to work on them. But once we get saved, you know what? We are ready to go. People are just ready to run. Lord, what can I do next? And we're like the king's kids. I'll use that. I'll borrow that. We get out there, we get excited about what he's doing in our lives. We're excited about what he's doing in other people's lives. We want to have a testimony for the Lord because we know that it's worth something in heaven, and we will be there one day. And the end result is we get so excited about doing stuff for him, we're like this. Lord, what can I do now? And I want to tell you, if you learn how to pray, you'll never have that problem. If you learn how to pray, he will set you up with the way that he's going to do things. You're going to have this open communication between you and him, and things like this will be revealed to you. He didn't reveal it to me because I'm somebody special. He revealed it to me because I was available. That's all. Be available. Because I have no way, shape, or form exhausted all the deep, intricate things that are in the Word of Yah. And I'm going to show you some things that are pretty wild. I'm talking about, you thought this was wild, just kind of brought it around a little bit. This is not wild. This is like scratching the surface. And not a good scratch either. You could buff this out without a problem. But we're going to talk about the letters, and we're going to find out some deep things that are in there. But this is one of the things that I've showed you here, is that a basic tenet of teaching is to always go back to the beginning. If the Lord put it in the beginning, he made it foundational. You can bet your life on it, that it will constantly stay. And it's going to go all the way through Scripture. That will not change. A day is as 1,000 years, 1,000 years is as a day. And I got to figure out what I do with all my erasers and stuff here. Just give me just a second. Good. Don't leave home without them. So that's just a little thing. But I want you to notice, too, how one code here is connected to large letter code. It's connected to Aleph code. It's connected to the code in his name. It's connected to time codes. You will not find a code that just stands out all by itself, because it's all interwoven like lattice. And one thing will lead you to something else, which will lead you to something else, which will lead you to something else. And if you're a person who really likes to dig in deep, boy, you better buy a bunch of notebooks. Buy them. And you won't buy too many. If you can get a good deal at Kmart or Walmart or wherever, buy them. There you go. I did that. I was good on that. I went ahead and exhausted my wallet on that. But the end result is, this is what you'll see happen right here. So we're going to look at some other code that's in here. And we're going to stay with Yod He Vav He. And we'll probably rewrite these other things several times.
Sorry, we got plenty of paper.
Okay. I wonder if I can make that work. You won't do it, will you? Well, I may not be able to get that to do that. Let me ask, do we have a piece of tape available anywhere? Thank you. What I like to do is keep the word where you can see it. Because as you look at it, you get more familiar with it, you get more confident with it. Before you know it, you'll be reading it.
So in the original script, the first letter bet in the first
Thank you.
sentence of the Bible is large.
It's enlarged. And it's been that way since the beginning. So let me see if I did that correctly. And will it work? Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. I hate to do that, but we're going to have to do it for just a second here. Who knows what that is? Bereshit. In beginnings. What else is in there? Bar stands for the Son. So right from the beginning, we have the Son. Why don't we have Elohim? Why don't we have Yod He Vav He? Why did he put his Son first?
Because he created it.
Co-creator. Absolutely, absolutely. The co-creator with the Father. But again, why did he put his Son first? And you guys know the answer. I'm just asking in a way you're not familiar with. He's preeminent. Firstborn. Preeminent.
Firstborn's consecrated to him.
Yep. Yeah. Say it again, louder. Man, knock it right out of the ballpark. No man cometh to the Father but by me. He did, when he said that while he was walking around in his fleshly body, that's not when that was true. That was true right from the beginning. And this is the thing that we're going to find out about the teachings of Yeshua, that everything he said is true from the beginning. I was with the Father in the beginning. Father, glorify me as we were glorified together in the beginning. This is what he wrote in the Gospels. He didn't just show up one day and say, well, I've realized now that I was with the Father in the beginning. He knew it. Oh man, what was I thinking? He knew it the whole time, that he was with the Father from the beginning, that all things were made for him and by him. The book of John is, and without him was nothing made. How much is made? Everything. Everything was made for him and by him. So when you go to somebody who won't relate his life to the Lord, just let him know you were made for him and by him. And until you get your life together, you're out of sync with God, you're out of sync with yourself, you're out of sync with your wife, you're out of sync with the world, you're out of sync with creation. Because you can't even have creation. Bara. You can't have it. You cannot have it. And when we look at these things and we understand, we break down the letters, we see this fallen vav right here. That's a fallen vav. That's another type of the vavs that you learn if you go to yeshiva. And sitting on top of it is a resh, the prince. That's what resh means. It's an associated word to the word rosh, which means head, chief, leader. They use it in modern Hebrew to just describe the head of a person. And you see it that it's doubled right here. You see the resh that's standing on the fallen vav, and you see him again right here next to the Father. The Father establishes everything by 2 and 3 witnesses. Now, when you go to yeshiva class, this is exactly what you see. They get very repetitious about this. They go through the letters and through the letters and through the letters, and you're sitting there going, okay, we kind of understand that now. But when you understand that the Son of Elohim, the Holy One, came as a man and that he would wear wild thorns
Wow. Wild thorn.
on his head, and that he would establish his brit, his covenant with you right from the beginning. And how would he do it? Right here. That's how he would do it. He would hang between heaven and earth on the cross. And the final end of everything is it would be finished. Yeet. It's done. How many letters do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's talking about this creation right now. The story of the Messiah is right here from the beginning. Any rabbi that says, any person, I don't care who they are, because I see people all the time going, well, you know, the new covenant is not in the Torah. Wait a minute. Barashit bara Elohim at the Shemayim?
Which one? The wild thorns, is that the?
That is the shet right here. And it actually shows you where he would suffer these wild thorns. In Jerusalem.
The valley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Whoa.
Wow, they're on wow.
See that.
Their own
See-
language tells you where he's going to suffer.
Every
Suffers.
letter has their own story.
Wow.
Every letter has its own story. Every letter right here can tell you about the Messiah. When it says everything was made for him and by him, folks, I ain't kidding. I ain't just making it up to throw it out there. Well, let's go to another interesting word. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? We're going to count Aleph, because Aleph is a very interesting letter, and since it's a premier letter and it points to the Father and his unity with the Son, I think it's a very important thing in creation. If we come up here and we count these in the first sentence, I wish I had handouts. You know, everybody kind of follow along. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6 days, 6,000 years. What, and this is where the handout really is so phenomenal to have them. What word doesn't have an aleph in it? If you have your Tanakh with you or your Torah, Hashemayim. Hashemayim is the word for heaven. It doesn't have an aleph in it. Why? If aleph is telling us all about time and telling us about the days of creation and telling us about how long this creation would last, then why wouldn't the Lord put it in Hashemayim?